Si oye Radio Venceremos desde el centro de la montaña, transmitiendo sus mensajes, es poder de un pueblo en armas.
Transmite Radio Venceremos por los días del frente Fernando Martín a la liberación nacional.
Emitiendo su señal de libertad desde Morazan, territorio en combate contra la opresión y el imperialismo.
Radio Venceremos emite su señal guerrillera desde el Frente Oriental Francisco Sánchez y a través de la banda internacional de los 40 metros 7 megahercios, todos los días de 6 a 7 en la mañana y de 6 a 7 en la tarde.
Santiago and Mariposa were the voice of Radio Venceremos, the station that kept the rebel forces in Morazan informed and united. Their broadcasts were welcomed in the international arena for providing information from behind rebel lines, while the rest of the media in El Salvador were shackled by censorship. The gag rule. 5 rebel groups operated during the 1970s. Exactly how the civil war started is uncertain, but it was the union of the 5 rebel groups forming the Farabundo Marti National Liberation Front, FMLN, which accelerated the official general offensive against the government.
Esta es la pólvora. Esta es la piedra.
The 10th of January 1981 was the chosen date for the uprising. The rebels armed themselves with stolen shotguns and homemade weapons.
Vamos a cubrirla toda con el tierro. Bueno, ahora que ya está terminada la bomba de contacto, vamos a ir a probar.
Aquí estamos haciendo abanicos y también estamos haciendo colas de morteros.
Bueno, esta es una caja de abanico que se hace de plywood. Se le mide de 30 a lo largo y 15 a lo ancho. Y entonces se pone de esta forma y se llena de pólvora de nitrato. Y aquí se le hace un hoyito para ponerle el encendido.
Through agreements made with countries abroad, weapons were sent from Nicaragua, Vietnam, Angola and the Soviet Union.
Es la única alternativa, pues, para la liberación del pueblo, armada, porque se ha probado, pues, de todas formas, pues, políticamente, todo, pues, y no hay salida.
Pueblo salvadoreño, ha llegado el momento de acabar de una vez por todas con los opresores y asesinos de nuestro pueblo. Este es el momento en que todo el pueblo debe lanzarse a las calles a combatir y reivindicar sus luchas.
This broadcast by Santiago in Radio Venceremos announced the uprising. But the massive uprising didn't happen as expected. The FMLN didn't manage to mobilize the masses at a national level as effectively as it had wished to. Soon the rebel forces fell back into defensive positions, even though there was no turning back. The government took the menace of revolution seriously. The civil war was on the move. For months, the FMLN resisted behind trenches in a revolution they expected would last a few weeks. During this time, the military weakness of the FMLN was countered by its ideological power. The rebel radio station, Radio Venceremos, together with its press and propaganda machinery, operating clandestinely all over the whole country and cells abroad, kept the revolution alive until the FMLN could find ways to strike back.
Arriba, corazones. Hoy convertidos en jefe de bomberos, llamando al pueblo entero para las votaciones. Pero el avance del frente vagabundo le ha dicho en Ilopango: no hay tales elecciones. Y ahora, todo el pueblo.
1 year later, the FMLN started to take control over some territories.
Al son de los tambores. Por donde quiera se escucha la alegría, pues ya se acerca el día de la liberación.
Radio Venceremos and the revolution walked hand in hand. Colonel Monterosa from the Salvadoran army and leader of the fierce Atlacal battalion took as his personal and professional mission the destruction of the rebel radio station. The propagandist and unifying power of Radio Venceremos was far too powerful. To find and destroy Radio Venceremos had become his obsession. The station was constantly on the move from one place to another because the army always managed to find the source of the radio signal. This endangered the survival of Radio Venceremos on many occasions. Where resources were lacking, ingenuity prevailed.
Transmite Radio Venceremos, voz oficial del Frente Farabundo Martí para la Liberación Nacional.
In order to make itself invisible to the army radio detectors, Radio Venceremos used the interconnected web of metallic fences that bordered farms all over the country to set up a gigantic antenna. The radio signal from Radio Venceremos was broadcast then from the whole country at once and was received in neighbouring countries.